Good, good evening. Welcome everyone to this wonderful space here, holding by Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix, Arizona, at Religious Sign Church, which I have the honor to be the staff minister here. I'm Reverend Jorge Suarez, and today is Monday, and on Mondays we do Monday practice with me, with Reverend Jorge. So this space is it has the intention to explore all the spiritual practice. Yes, I know that when we think in spiritual practice, our minds just go into one or two of them, like prayer or meditation, or mantras or yoga. But there are plenty and big spiritual practice that allow us to go through the day in more in a way more less reactive and with more present, with more active, more centered. So that's why with the type of spiritual practice we bring here doesn't matter that we have explored as well meditation and mantras. So you can check all of that in our archives in YouTube and Facebook. And the other point with these spiritual practices is I trying to connect them with what is happening at Creative Eleven Fellowship on Sunday service, which we have a monthly theme, which is the transformative practice of showing up. So showing up is not just a be present or go to the place, to the party, to work, things like that, but showing up is means with presence, it means with consciousness, it means also that we are there present and totally the way. And as well, yesterday, Sunday, April 9th, the topic that Reverend Sherry explored in Sunday service was embracing the transition. Just before continuing moving in all this connection with the practice and the Sunday service, I just want to remind you that we have a Sunday service in person in Embassy Suite at 10 in the morning here in Phoenix, Arizona, and at the same time we also streaming live, and you can actually visit many times on our channels on YouTube and Facebook. So there are many ways to explore, to listen the message, and to revisit it during the week and connect it with this sense of practice. Um, so I also talking about Reverend Sherry. We have Reverend Sherry showing up and is sending us hearts and love to everyone. Good evening, Reverend Sherry. Good to see you. So in yesterday on April 9, the exploring the embracing the transition, Reverend Sherry took the steps of the crucifixion and connected it with the resurrection. So and she was actually focused on and in that moment from after the moment where we're supposed to die and then into the tomb toward the resurrection, which means to open the stone and move it forward into a new life. So that time, that expression of life is what we're going to explore tonight here with our spiritual practice. In another sideways as well, we had a very powerful Holy Week in this past week. So if you want to explore the seven words, Reverend Sherry explored them in Sunday service, and as well, the practitioners explored it in the Good Friday uh, the service that we do traditionally here at CLF. So as well, you can visit it all then on YouTube and Facebook, and so you can get a very rich experience with all of that. So backing into the embracing the transition. So the embracing the transition is when we Jesus died and goes into the tomb, spend the days over there, and then have the resurrection experience, which is like in the Christian tradition and especially from Saint Augustine and Santa Teresa, they bring the concept of the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul, it's this experience that every one of us has. Doesn't matter if you are totally dedicated to a spiritual path or not. All of us we have that experience, which is actually a way that where we feel without God, is basically where we feel that we are in this moment of darkness. Where imagine yourself, you're in the middle of the desert. I always use that because it's Phoenix, Arizona, when we are in the desert. So we are in the middle of the desert without moon, and it's just all dark, dark, dark. Where you feel that there is no way to see, there is no way to look at. But at the same time, in that darkness, our eyes get some adjustment to the darkness. So start we see the shadows and the sun. So in our experience of life, we have that. We have that experience. It could be when we are in a spiritual path. It could be that a sense of transition between where we were and into the new person, the new spirit that is coming out. We sit in the nature with the butterfly when we had that transition as well, coming into a butterfly. But it's the dark night is that moment, in the moment of transition, the moment where there is a pain, where there is a sorrow, where sometimes it's get confused by some mental health, like anxiety of depression. But it's ultimate is this sense of that is something is happening, that I am having these things to release, that I am in a transformation, but I don't have any control. I don't see what's going on. So that is what is called the dark of the night. I in talking of that, so to bring a little more background, Dr. Michael Beckwith has Michael Beckwith in his book, The Spiritual Liberation. Let me bring this into more in front of the camera. So he had this, he embraced the darkness. So he said the darkness and light are both part of our journey. Again, not necessarily has to be spiritual, it's just living life. Darkness is the depth of a spiritual potential hidden in the void of an infinite possibility. Light is the manifestation of that potential in the external dimension of time and space. It's a wonderful, wonderful quote from Michael Beckwith, where it actually tells us that we, in order to see the light, to move into the light, and to express the light that we are, sometimes we had to go into these dark spaces, which was happening in the story of Jesus and the crucifixion and the resurrection. Is that time where we spent in the tomb, actually having all the process. Is like that little bug who's transformed into a butterfly, but it's painful. We don't know what is going on. We cannot see what is going to be the transformation happening, and that's sometimes where it brings us out of control and sorrow. And the other quote, Michael Beckwith in the same book, Spiritual Liberation, he said that it is a gift to the soul that provides the teaching which becomes the cosmic doorway through which we take a closer step to spiritual awakening. In in other words, is that the dark night of the soul, or this transition that we experience, allow us to transform ourselves. It's not just to move from, let's say, that divorce, from be in a relationship to don't have it being in a relationship, but it actually happens a transformational there, an awakening of ourselves, and in our spiritual path is actually is our consciousness expand, our sense of who we are is actually more vivid, more experienced, and we have a more life experience and more sense of who we are. And so that's just kind of my connection with the Sunday service and the dark night of the soul. Why is important the dark night of the soul? Many of us maybe were experiencing it. Maybe we have a recognition that we experienced it in a few months ago. Many people, when we were in 2020, we experienced a kind of darkness of the soul by being trapped in our places, or not able to leave or move all around. So in as a spiritual practice, we have three in particular experience practice, which is surrender, the practice of presence, and ask the question. There are three very basic and very wonderful experience when we are living this idea of the dark night of the soul. So before we jump into the practice, I just want to remind all of you that if you want to support Creative Living Fellowship, support all these activities that we do online and in person on Sunday. So every gift that you can give us is well received, and we appreciate all your support. So one way to support is give us a thumbs up here in YouTube and Facebook, and also leave a comment so that how this experience on this practice is serving you during the week, and how actually we enrichen your life. And the other way is actually by supporting us financially. So you can um, you can use our PayPal button that is actually showing up in the comments or chat part in YouTube and Facebook. And at the same time, also you can actually go to a website and 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 use the link over there to do the donations. And if also, if you see this Q here, is the Q code. Also, you can use your phone and do the donation. And use talking about phone, you can also text. So the information is down in the comments and the chat, so you can all of you see there, to support us financially as well. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up and leave your comments. So I've said, would say, when we are in the midst of the dark night of the soul, into this transition from moving into a change, into a transformation, we have three spiritual practice: the surrender, the practice of the presence, and the ask the question. Four, I'm going to give you the three basics, and we go to do the practice of the third one, the ask the question, which is actually inspired as well for Michael Bernard Beckworth. So I think it's actually the best one to do today. So for surrender sometimes is a word that people don't like it. Like it means that I have tried everything, and well, this is the next thing I had to do. Like, okay, that I don't have any power. That I'm just I'm at the mercy of the situations of things like that. But no, actually, if you understand surrender is actually is allow the space, is put myself sideways and allow God to express itself. So how we set up ourselves in side aside ourselves and allow God to express Himself through surrender. To we can use actually when we are in the midst of a situation and our minds start to bubble in and ideas, or feeling like meh, I don't want to do anything, or like I don't like it, or it's very painful, or you're having a resistance where the process is happening, or you try to worry too much is what is going to be the outcome. Like the bug and the butterfly is like, I don't know what colors were again, what size of wings were they go to get, blah blah blah. So you can worry in many ways. So one way is when you have that, you can say, I don't know. That's the answer. That's the spiritual practice. You say, I don't know, and it's actually give it to God. I don't know. I don't know. Another way that you want to make is like, you can say, I surrender this to my non-understanding. It's just another way to say, I don't know. is or You can actually accompany the I don't know with I don't know, and the answer will be showing up to me. I don't know. I trust in God. I don't know. I am sustained by God. So just allowing the certitude and the trust in God show up, but at the same time, leaving to God everything. Because sometimes our egos make us believe that we know what is the best for us. We know what is the best for organizations. We know what is the best for my job. We know what is the best for my sons or daughters or my relationship. But in reality, we don't know. We just need is to allow God to show in us what is the best. And by doing that is by saying, I don't know. I don't know. The second practice is the practice of the presence. Practice of the presence could be meditation. So you can sit for 5 to 20 minutes in silence and allow God in the midst of the pain of the dark to go into the silence and rejoice there and rejoice the union with us, with God, with this being bigger than ourselves, bigger than our troubles, bigger than the process of transition that we experience it, and relax there. So that's also another way to live at the present, and at the same time also being practicing presence also means, for example, you take a walk around your neighborhood, around your park, around. Now here in Arizona we have a wonderful trails to do, so you can walk over there and be present, present to the wind, present to the soil, present to the flowers. Now it's the spring, present to the water, present to the sun as well. Be present doesn't mean, as I say, sun, tree, thing. No, it's just don't give it any meaning to anything. Just look at, observing, and in rejoicing in the union with that. That's the second practice. The third practice is ask the question. And that is where Bernard Beckwith had as well. And it say this way. There's actually two questions. Um, he Let me go before and do the introduction, and then we read the question. The microbit network say that when we are in the midst of the dark night, when we are in the world, when we are in the pain, when we are in that feeling of or vacuum, or like I'm really empty and I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, we just ask two questions. Or it's kind of the same question, but it's ask a question. But it ask the question is not to the ego, not to our friends. No, we call our besties, say, hey, what do you think about this? It's actually asking to the best friend that we have, ourselves, our spirit within us. So this is kind of related a little with the visioning practice, which ask the questions and wait for the answer. But this is specifically in this moment, and specifically with where you are experiencing in the dark night of the soul. So the questions are. Let me remove the quotes. I guess already you did the donation. Is what within me needs to be allowed and embraced in order for me to have peace of mind. What within me needs to be allowed and embraced in order for me to have peace of mind. And the other question is, if this experience was going to last forever, what do I need to start to focusing on? What qualities I need to focus on? And that is what we're going to do is this practice today. This is the practice for us today. So we are in perfect time for doing it. I was worried that I had too much material. um, so let's take a deep breath and open ourselves. Maybe many of you that are watching us right now, live or streaming, afterwards, is that I say I don't feel that I am in a dark night. Doesn't matter. Just allow yourself to bring this spot, bring this exercise, bring this practice, and allow to ask. Maybe you don't feel it. Maybe it's not that dramatic like sometimes we feel it, like this vacuum or this feeling of not want to do anything. Maybe it doesn't feel so in that sense of blackness or of things. But sometimes we are there kind of going automatic and we don't see what is happening in our lives. So sometimes it's good to stop and ask to ask God, to ask Spirit. And always is good with that. Don't remember the answers maybe show up immediately or maybe not. And it's okay. The answer may, in my tradition myself, when I ask to God, always He has answered me in the shower, where I don't have a pen, where I don't have a paper, and I was like, but He always do that, and I love that. I always ready for that. So allow yourself, allow that part. So let's take a deep breath. And let's surrender by letting go all the expectations that how our life should be or should look like or should feel. And let's say, I don't know. I don't know. I surrender to the trust and the sustaining way that God does to me. With another deep breath, we start to be present to the presence that lives within every one of us. That is everything that is present in everything in the universe. A life that is part of here right now. We started feeling. So all the thoughts that are black, white noise that sometimes we have in our heads, remove all the tension. Feel the vibrant life, that love that is always constant and permanent in ourselves, that is shared with everything and everybody, that is shared by Reverend Sherry and April, sharing by me, by my dogs, by my partner. Be present to that present in your body, in your surroundings. Now, let's surrender and be present to the love, the life that vibrates in ourselves. Bring all your attention to that. And now listen and ask yourself this question. Ask yourself, I'm not mean to your ego or your ideal persona, your name. Ask yourself is to the spirit within you. God, love. If it's easy for you, say, hey, love. Like when we say, hey, Alexa, say, hey, love. Hey, love. What within me needs to be allowed and embraced in order for me to have peace of mind. Tell me, love, what within me needs to be allowed and embraced in order for me to have peace of mind. Be attentive, be present, and surrender to the answer. Don't try to look at, don't try to argue, don't try to bring anything from the past or an idea from the past. Surrender all of that, let it go. And ask yourself again, hey, love, what within me needs to be allowed and embraced in order for me to have peace of mind? And now let's take a deep breath again. And let go all the ideas that maybe I get the answer, maybe not. I just know. I know that whatever it is, it just has show up or it will show up. Another deep breath. And we center again our attention in our bodies, in our center. The center of the life, the center of the love. Feel again that vibration, that life that is within you and outside you, that is bigger than your body, bigger than any sense. Let's take another deep breath. And let's ask again to love, to God, to Spirit. Hey, Spirit, if this experience was going to last forever, what do I need to start to focusing on? What qualities? Sweet Spirit, Habibi, if this experience was going to last forever, what do I need to start to focusing on? What kind of qualities? What divine qualities? And if you look at the questions, you may realize that we're not worrying about the outcome, how it looks like. That's not what matters. We are asking to Spirit, what is that needed here right now to surrender, to be present to this process called the dark night of the soul. So what is that I need to know, to embrace and embody, to pass this process, this transition with peace of mind? What qualities do I need to bring all my attention so I can support the process, so I can be in alignment with the process? So that make us more open and less resistant to what is going on. Less resistant to the pain, to the worry, to the outcomes. You must be present, more open. Showing up to life. I know the time is over, but I don't want to close this way abruptly. So let's take a deep breath. And let's bring the gratitude, the feeling of gratitude. We say thank you, thank you, thank you for the presence that we are, for the awareness that we are, for the joy that we are, and for whatever is being revealed or will be revealed. Let's say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's take another deep breath. And relax and let go. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed this practice. And if it's not now, or you feel that are nothing that's happening, or you are in the midst of the storm of the transition, you have this video, you have these questions. So remember them. Ask yourself. Let go the outcomes. Let go the how it should be, it should look like, how I believe that it knows. And saying, I don't know. I in reality don't know. And ask God, ask love. What is that brings me peace of mind? And what is that I need to be embodied and put all my attention so I'm in alignment with the process. So thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you. Thank you for staying connected after we pass a little our time. I appreciate all your attention. And please, please write the comments during today or during the week while you're doing and developing this practice. What is happening to you? How is the dark night that you may be experiencing is moving more flowing, more it's moving more gentle in our lives. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're interested in the music we are playing right now, it's actually All Is Truth by Chad Lawson, 2018. You can find that in iTunes and Spotify. It's a wonderful, wonderful CD. So this is today for now, Monday practice. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you that are connected. Thank you, Rowan, Sherry, April, that you let us know that you are here. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your comments and chat. And now, well, it's time to close this space. The Creator Living Fellowship support here. And remember, enjoy all our activities. Visit our website, visit our Facebook and YouTube channels, and don't let your heart go heavy when we can have all this experience together. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Roger. Thank you. I appreciate that. Your comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have everyone a good night, and I see you next Monday when we can explore something different and something new. Thanks. Have a good night.